Hi, and welcome to David Essel Alive, helping Americans heal, the most positive podcast in the galaxy, right here on Buzzsprout.com. Welcome aboard, gang. We are going to talk about recovery today. And if your recovery program is difficult, and what does that mean? Meaning that you have constant cravings, or you're relapsing on a regular basis, or you're cross-addicting on a regular basis, it shouldn't be that hard. Oh, my Lord. For the past 43 years, I've worked in the world of personal growth as a best-selling author, radio, TV, podcast host, so many different things. And one of the areas of life that we've specialized in is recovery, is sobriety of any addiction and all addictions in the world. Most people know that I struggled for over 30 years with my own battle with addictions. And since that has been over, oh my Lord, all I can say is it's freedom, complete bliss, complete freedom, complete joy. No temptations whatsoever could pull me back into the world of addictions. And I want you to be in that same situation. Unfortunately, it's not true for most people. Unfortunately, people complain all the time about how difficult recovery is. And if it is that difficult, we're doing something wrong. Now listen, your first year of recovery, if we're stumbling and having trouble, my God, I did the same thing. I got out of the treatment center a long time ago, and the first 365 days was a bear. I will not say any untruth on these podcasts or videos ever. It was difficult. It was hard. It was not easy for that first year. And I understand that. So if you're in your first year and you're challenged by it, that is part of the process, which is why we need accountability partners. If you're in a serious recovery program, you've got an accountability partner, whether it's a coach, a counselor, a therapist, it's someone who's going to hold your feet to the fire, someone who's going to be touching in with you, touching base, making sure you're doing the work necessary. And listen, when we talk about recovery, we're talking about life recovery. The program we teach, and you can get our brand new book absolutely free, David Essel's Permanent Alcohol and Life Recovery book is free at talkdavid.com. And you'll notice in there that we talk about life recovery more than we talk about addiction recovery. We talk about life recovery because in the book we give you the tips and the steps to follow on a daily basis so that you stay recovered for life. And after that first year, we should be doing really, really well. The third year, we should be on time. I'm being serious here. Like I have never, after that first year was hard. I was filled with anxiety. I had bouts of depression. I was put on medication because it was so hard being out without my drugs of choice. That's just the truth. Doesn't matter what field I'm in, that I'm in the field of helping other people get sober. I couldn't get myself sober. And then once I did and got past that first year, and how did I get past that first year? I had a counselor, an accountability partner that I was with every week for 52 straight weeks. That allowed me to move through those difficult periods in the first 365 days. I don't know if I didn't have someone to be accountable to in that first year, if I would have stayed clean. I'm not positive. I know that I had some very difficult days, some very difficult nights, but I had someone I could reach out to. I knew I was going to work with them once a week for an hour. I knew I could catch them at any time that I was struggling or thought that I might have a craving that could turn into a relapse. Thank God they never did. And then over the years, of course, if you're doing the work, life recovery, you have new rituals. You're approaching life totally differently. Instead of using the time and the days to get high or get drunk or whatever our drug of choice is, we're using it in the world of personal growth to deepen our spiritual path, to deepen our emotional regulation, to deepen our relationship skills, our communication skills, all those things that we suck at in the world of addiction. And if you agree, if you've been in the world of addiction, you know what I'm talking about. We can be so manipulative. We can be great liars. And then in recovery, we take all of that energy that we put into thinking about the addiction and getting involved in the addiction and the aftermath of the addiction. It's all gone. I remember when I was in active addiction, I was thinking about my addictive substances, whether it was alcohol or cocaine, all the time. Do I have enough alcohol at home? There's an event I want to go to. I wonder if I have enough to have a few drinks before I go to the event. These are normal thoughts in the addict alcoholic brain. Okay. Once you're in recovery, especially past that first 365 days, if you're working with a really good counselor, a really good accountability partner, it should be easier. Temptations will come. They can come in year 2, they can come in year 23. But if you have a life recovery program, daily rituals that you're following regarding exercise, nutrition, spirituality, self-confidence, self-esteem, if you're really doing the work, you're examining your codependency. Are you still interacting with people who are in active addiction? If you are, that's a codependent move. Those people who are still in active addiction that you may have used with, I don't care if we're talking about alcohol or sugar or anything, with opiates, my God, whatever it is, that when you are in active addiction, we need to move away from that crowd, away from those people. And it can be, for many of us, one of the most difficult things in the world to do, but it's part of recovery. You can't be into a joyful, powerful recovery program if you're still hanging out with people that are using. The temptation is too strong. Peer pressure is powerful. You can slip back into relapse in a heartbeat. But it shouldn't be difficult after that first year. I'm going to keep saying this. I read this quote on Instagram that was really disheartening. And I see these quotes and I go, my God, if I was thinking about getting sober, if I hadn't already years ago, I may not. Anthony Hopkins, there's a quote from him, and who knows if it is actually from Anthony Hopkins, but it was on the internet. It had his face in his picture. And he said, I've been sober for 47 years and it's the hardest road. It's always difficult. And I'm reading that. I'm going, this sucks. Who posts this crap? Whoever believes in that stuff, and I don't care how big of a name Anthony Hopkins has, you should not be struggling after 47 years of recovery, after 40 years of recovery. After 4 years of recovery, you shouldn't be struggling if you have a good recovery program. It shouldn't be difficult. I'm going to keep repeating this. I've talked to people with 50 years plus of recovery, and they agree with me. And listen, they recovered very early in life. They started really early, and they recovered really early. And they all say the same thing. It's our lifestyle that had to change. The people we hang out with had to change. For some people, the music that we listen to has to change. If you've never read the book Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins, Power versus Force, Dr. David Hawkins, read it. He talks about recovery. He talks about how many studies, and even though this book was written in the 80s, there's a lot in that book that's extremely valid today. Studies coming out that saying that people that go back to the music that they listened to while they were using have a greater chance for relapse. Isn't that wild? That's because the subconscious mind has already made that comparison. This music equals using this. And so when I'm listening to this music, I want to use this. See, that's the subconscious mind that we need to shatter in a great recovery program. Grab our free book, David Essel's Permanent Alcohol and Life Recovery Program, at talkdavid.com. There's 2 other books there for free as well. Helping Americans Heal, the subtitle of this podcast, as well as the Ultimate Gratitude Journal. They're all part of our recovery program. And if you want to talk to me for free for 20 minutes, we offer a discovery call, no charge at all. And I'll talk to you. If you want to work with me with recovery, you will not find it difficult. I will make sure, if you're willing to do the work, I'll give you every step, every tool necessary to make recovery, especially after that first year, joyful, peaceful, filled with bliss, filled with confidence, knowing you'll never return to that life because it never served you at the level your new life can. Visit talkdavid.com for all of this. You're tuned in to the most positive podcast in this galaxy and all galaxies. David Essel Alive, helping Americans heal with one notion only. This is Good News with David Essel. Until next time, have an amazing day.